And 4 days after Port Aransas officials said that they weren't going to enforce beach enclosures, Mayor Charles Bouillon and Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales releasing a joint statement today clarifying orders regarding vehicles out on the beaches. Our Taylor Alaniz spoke with Mayor Bouillon about options beachgoers currently have.
An order by Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales prohibits vehicles on the beach starting July 3rd in areas including Port Aransas, an order that still stands. Despite the judge's order, earlier in the week, Port Aransas officials say they would allow visitors to drive on the beaches again because they no longer had the ability to enforce it. Police started to see traffic and illegal parking, so officers would have to eventually bring down beach access barriers. But on Thursday, Mayor Charles Bouillon and Judge Canales issued a joint statement reiterating that you still cannot drive on the sand. So the city has created some additional parking at the end of Beach Access 1.
They can walk in to the beach from there. We unfortunately do not have the manpower in terms of police to police those, so the county will have to do that. We just simply don't have the manpower for it.
I talked with Sheriff J.C. Hooper, who says the department's priority is getting correctional officers well and back working in the jail. He says they are still in the process of hiring deputies, and the ones out on patrol will be focusing on 911 response. Friday's statement also addresses visitors, saying out-of-towners should be aware of the limited access to beaches, and plans to travel to any in Nueces County should be carefully planned to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Officials say debris from Hurricane Hannah is still a safety concern. That beach restriction order has been extended until August 17th. Taylor Alaniz, 3 News.